Hi, Bryan DeLauney here. We're going to talk a little bit more about intervals before we go into the major scale. We're going to talk a little bit about consonants, imperfect consonants, dissonance. And then we're going to go into understand what the difference between melodic and harmonic is. Harmonic inversions, melodic inversions, compound intervals. Sounds kind of complicated, but let's go real quick. It's not going to be real long, hopefully, and it'll just make a little bit of sense. Now, the consonance is described as like a degree of stability. Now, if you have a chord and you play it, it sounds stable. It sounds good. Now, if you play something there's a difference between that and that. That's kind of what we're talking about. Now, the chords that I played were stable chords, but they had some instability in a few of them. So I have a cheat sheet here I got to look at, because I don't have this all memorized just like everybody in the world, but I have an understanding of it, and if I wanted to sit down and think about it, I could break it down. So remember, this is about learning. It's about understanding the notes and what we're doing when we're playing. Let's go to the consonants. Now, we're going to start off with the most consonant, and then we're going to work our way through to the least, and then to the imperfect consonants. Now, the consonants are going to be the unison, which is the same note. So if I play a D and a D, they're going to sound the best together because it's the same note. Now, if I go to the next one, which is the octave, it's still the same note. It's just a higher pitch. So those two have the most consonants: the unison and the octave. Now, the perfect fifth has the next level of consonants before it starts breaking up. It's got a good sound to it. The G, I'm sorry, this is a D and an A. Okay? Then the perfect fourth. In my intro, you can see that I played a perfect fourth. Right there. Okay? Then we're going to go to the imperfect consonants. Now, you'll see that these sound a little bit different. Okay? Starting on the D, I'm playing D instead of the G because you're actually hearing out of my speaker, and I don't want it to get too bassy. So, I'm going to do a major third, minor third, here's a little weaker, major sixth, minor sixth. Okay? Now we're going to go, those were imperfect consonants. The major third, minor third, major sixth, minor sixth. Now we're going to go into the unstable sounds, the dissonant sounds. We're going to start off with a minor 7. So if we're playing the D, we do our major scale. So here's our 7. So our minor 7 will be here. Okay? Now I'm going to use two different fingers. I'm going to use this one for the D, and then I'm going to play the major second here on E. So I'm playing a major second there. You can hear the difference. It's got a perfect fourth, augmented fourth, which is a diminished fifth. Now we've got to do a major 7, then a minor second. So you can hear how unstable those. Got it really right next to the tonic. You can hear how the dissonant those are. So now we understand the difference between dissonance and consonance, and we can understand how certain notes can lead us certain ways. They can give us ideas and projections about where we're going. You can pretty much hear a note and know where you're going in the scale, or know where you're going in a chord because of the way it sounds compared to the root. Now the difference between harmonic and melodic, and I'm not talking about the harmonic minor and the melodic minor or anything like that. I'm actually talking about the terminology harmonic. Harmonic was what I was doing right there. Now when I was playing one note and playing another one at the same time, playing these intervals, like when I played the unison, or the major second, minor second, that's harmonic. That's being played at the same time. Melodic would be if I played them like this. Or any scale. Instead of going like I was. So that's the difference between melodic and harmonic. Now there are harmonic inversions, yeah, that's right, harmonic inversions and melodic inversions. Some of the terminology, interval and inversion, tongue-tied. Harmonic inversion would be, what's the inversion of the chord I'm playing? So if I'm playing a perfect fifth chord, this D and this A. Now if I invert it and have the A on top, A, D, I'm playing a perfect fourth. So that's a harmonic inversion. So I started off and I played a perfect fifth, but the perfect fifth is an inversion of a perfect fourth. A minor third is an inversion of a major sixth. Diminished fifth is an inversion of an augmented fourth. Now this will work the same with what they call a melodic inversion. And what you're doing here is you'll play an original passage. And so if you're going from a G to a B, what you can do is actually go the other way. So when you come back, the inversion would be, instead of going from G to B, which is going up a third, which that was a G and A, very smart of me. Let's do it again, G to B, which is a third, 1, 2, 3. You go backwards a third, you'd go to G to E. So your passage, your original passage would be going from G to B, going up a third, while you can see the inversion would actually be going back a third to the E. And then you can continue this on and make melodic passages that way. Now there are compound intervals. These compound intervals are basically when you say somebody's playing a 9. There's only 7 notes, the octave's 8. How are you playing a 9? You have the octave plus a step. So if I'm playing here, here's the octave, I'm playing a note above the octave. Okay, you have a 10th, which is the octave plus 2 steps. 11th, they call that a fourth, except for in certain occasions. A lot. That's going to go when we talk about 7th chords and extended chords. You can see that whenever you move up, you're gonna, if it's an augmented fourth, you go up to the next octave, it's going to be an augmented 11th or whatever. It's not that hard to understand. Intervals are basically the numbers. It's easy to talk to each other. It's easier to communicate. It's easier to get an idea of what we're doing. So whenever we're playing music, you can communicate to another musician in these terms, and it's a lot easier. So everybody has a language, and how you use that language. Engineers have certain depictions on drawings that other engineers understand, and there's chemists have different ideas. Physicists have the little symbols for different things, phi, pi, or whatever. And so it's a way of communicating an idea that other people within the same aspect of understanding, engineering, chemistry, music, or whatever, can relate and can communicate easily. And you can see it and understand it. That's exactly what it is. So intervals are the same thing. It's the basis upon how we're going to talk to each other and understand terminology, and how we're going to understand and talk to each other about scales and what have you. The next lesson we're going to learn about triad is going to talk about these intervals and such, and we're going to understand basically how to put them together and what they are and how the basis of all chords are for music. Hope you enjoy it. Alright, take care.